All right. Hello, everybody. How's it going today? Once again, this is Ethan, your amazing fat-ass host of this piece of shit audio show that I know at least a couple people enjoy. Shout out to my homies who listen to this. Love you all very much. Once again, it's your boy, Ethan. Once again, joined by the fantabulous Andrew, Ben, and Elias. I stole your thunder. I introduced you for you.
Fuck you.
What the hell, man?
I'm leaving the podcast.
Introducing myself is my everything. It's my only reason for getting up in the morning.
I cry every time. So now that I've been audibly beaten and harassed by my friends.
Let's talk about harassment in video games. No.
Anyways, CDPR, no. Yeah, we were just gonna jump right into things, I guess. No real major preamble today, I suppose, and just start talking about video games. I'm gonna be a super cool dude, and I'm gonna start by talking about the games that I've been playing this week, just to kind of get mine done and over with. Because I've played like a small handful. I guess it's just kind of like the normal where I've played I guess a pretty good handful of games, but most of these are like pretty short and don't merit much discussion really at all. So after I went through the Witcher 3 DLCs and I had like a blast with those, it was finally time for me to jump onto Game Pass again. Ethan, local Game Pass shill, because it is the best value in gaming, and I wish I was getting paid to say that. Hey Microsoft, if you're listening, you're not, but I love you. Give me money to shill your products. Anyway, I decided to download Five Nights at Freddy's 2
What a
on Game Pass.
Out of all the games.
Well, the reason why is because there's like a really funny achievement exploit that you can do in the game to basically get like almost every single achievement in the game in like 5 minutes.
Oh my god.
Oh, wow.
And I did that, and I was like, cool, thanks for the gamer score, and uninstalled the game.
BP number go up, dopamine go up.
Yeah, numbers increase, dopamine release.
Gotta love the game. You can
yeah, so I
and
just kinda
still
did-
get a refund.
Yeah, and the reason why I downloaded that is because my little brother and I just had this fun idea, like throughout December we were gonna race and see how much gamer score like we could race against each other to get by the end of the month. It's just a fun thing because it helps me like kind of play a lot of games I otherwise wouldn't play.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, I played a game called Fractured Minds this week. It is on Game Pass, and it's like a 15-minute game. It's like $2, I think, normally on like any platform. It's like a super easy platinum trophy or 1000 gamer score, or I don't know if it's on Steam, but if it is, I guess a full complete on Steam. It's a super pretentious art project where it's about like depression and love yourself and inner demons and whatever. It's really intriguing because it's made by one person, and it's like a 3D like first person like walking simulator game with some puzzle elements to it. Again, it's like 15 minutes, so I really can't complain about it, but it's not very good, I guess. Again, it's not terrible, and hey, made by one person, it's certainly more than I could ever muster, so mad respect is given, but I guess it's certainly worth trying, I guess, if you got Game Pass on console, because it's like, what's the risk? It's 15 minutes long, and if you're looking for some, easy achievements, well, there you go, and who knows,
15
maybe
minutes
you'll like
is a
it.
long time, man. I could have sex twice in that time.
I feel really bad for you.
More like a quarter of that time there,
I
Andrew.
assume. I don't know.
I assume I wouldn't know.
It's
You
time to
talk
work
about
on
your
stamina.
sexual performance when you when virgin. Ha.
Man, you were struggling tonight.
I've been struggling all day. It's not even funny.
We're laughing at you.
Everyone struggled tweeting tonight.
My iron's catching up to me.
And I guess, like, the last game that I played before I talk about anything that's actually good, or at least very entertaining. Foreshadowing. I played a game called One Leaves. I don't know if this is on any other platform, but it's a totally free game that you can download on Xbox. Again, 100% free. It's not a Game Pass game. It was just a free game. And I had no idea what it was, only that it had some easy achievements in it. So I was like, okay, whatever, I'll give it a try. Because again, this is a fun way for me to explore games I otherwise wouldn't play. And it's another first-person puzzle-type game. And it runs like shit. It looks even worse. It looks like it was made in, 2002, but really tried to up-res it to look like it was released in 2015, but it runs at 15 frames per second on average with tons of screen tearing and input delay, which I guess is fine since it's not asking any precision from you, but you are timed in a way. But it's like a puzzle horror game where it's ooh, oh, you're in a race against 4 other people to see who could get out of this, puzzle maze first, and the whole time you have this announcer guy who's, over the intercom, and he's ooh, look at these dead bodies, and ooh, look at all this hospital equipment, and ooh, isn't this spooky scary, and ooh, and I'm I what is this? Well, so it slowly becomes obvious what it is, and I shit you not, you're gonna laugh when I reveal this. You start seeing some weird gore stuff kind of towards the end of the game, where you'll see lungs protruding from a wall, and rotten teeth protruding out of walls, and the jaws will move and whatever, and it's trying to kind of go into that shock horror, I guess, sort of aspect. But right at the very end of the game, okay? So, after 20 minutes or so, because there's, you can win the game if you finish it in 20 minutes. But if you don't, you lose. But when you get to the end, the announcer says, oh, hey, you lost. Did you know that 1 in 4 people who smoke can't quit?
Oh my gosh!
It's an anti-smoking PSA. It's so funny. It is so funny.
That was the last thing I expected.
So, yeah, seriously.
Oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. But it's so funny. At the very end, and it just gets super preachy, and it's yeah, smoking's bad, and then you get this terrible MS Paint style ending results screen with a hotline number to call to quit and whatever, and it was a good laugh, but it's I'm not gonna try and shoot for the achievements by finishing the game in under 20 minutes just because it runs so terribly, so I just kind of left it as is, and I was more than fulfilled with that. But talking about good games now, stuff that I actually enjoyed playing this past week, I guess Doom Eternal got added to Game Pass on PC, and which made me really happy because I tried playing the game on Steam when I bought it there, because Doom Eternal, I initially played it on the PS4, and I bought it at the time because I bought it on release date, and that was right around the time. Excuse me, right around the time that I was making my transition in shooters from controller to mouse and keyboard. So I played through Doom Eternal, and it was an awesome game, but I was playing it with a controller at a point in time where I wasn't really getting I was losing focus of how to play a shooter with a controller. So I didn't have again, it's still a great game, but I didn't have the definitive experience for me. And so I tried playing it on Steam. It wasn't optimized for my potato machine, so it just ran like shit. And I pulled it to 720p, the lowest settings possible, and the thing still couldn't hit 60 FPS. And I'm how? Because my computer meets the minimum specs. It's the bare minimum specs, but it meets the minimum specs. I should be able to play this. I guess I couldn't. But they optimized it finally, and for the Game Pass release, I've been able to play it at 1600 by 900 on like medium high settings and keeping a relatively like steady 60 plus FPS. So, but
That's
yeah,
not bad.
yeah, no, it's not too bad. Again, my computer is not good by any stretch of the word, but you know, hey, I can play the game and I'm having a lot of fun with it, and it doesn't look like super bad, and it's running at a steady 60 FPS. It kind of chugs a little bit when I first like load into a level the very first time I boot up the game, but it smooths out within like a minute or two, and it's you know, perfectly fine from then on out. It just takes a little bit, I guess, for my RAM to be like, oh, I need to kick into gear. So my poor 8 gigabytes of RAM. But yeah, no, Doom Eternal, it's great. I highly recommend it. I really think it should be a game at some point that we should all play, and then return back to talk on it at some point, like what we're going to do later with another amazing game that we played. Or
Yeah.
at least some of us played.
Amazing. No, kidding.
Yeah. But the last thing I played, I've just been grinding through Yakuza Kiwami, and yeah, I've been progressing through the story for the most part, except today and like last night, I took a major break from actually playing the story to just do a shitload of side quests. And it's a lot of fun. The combat's great. I love the characters. Kiryu is just a total charm with his permanent resting bitch face, but his heart of gold. Love that guy. Majima is amazing. He's my current Discord icon. I love Majima. He's great. Love that boy. He's probably like the second best like rival character in any video game next to like Revolver Ocelot from Metal Gear Solid 3.
What about Blue from Pokemon?
No. Yeah, so I guess like you know, the highlight of playing Yakuza, I guess so far, I did something funny. There's these cabaret clubs in Japan, where it's basically a bar, except you pay to have an attractive person sit next to you and talk with you the whole time. And like there's a mechanic in the game where like you can build a relationship with these girls. And there's 2 specific ones that are requested at 2 specific clubs on the map. And I got both of them to basically fall in love with me, which is really weird, but kind of funny. And you get these like weird live action, like softcore porno type videos. Like there's no nudity or anything, but they're like really weird and uncomfortable to watch. But when like you successfully romance them all the way, one of the girls is a lesbian, which was really interesting. That's Yakuza. Great game. I'm gonna keep going through the story and actually finally finish that because I've taken too long of a break from the main narrative. But again, what I've played I really like. Although I do have some problems with it. The minimap is not that reliable. I really don't like that you can set custom waypoint markers on the map. Like, you have to, like, pull up the map and, like, read the streets and, like, try and path your direction, like, within your head and then actually, like, try and do that. So I've gotten turned around quite a lot there, but I'm slowly learning the map now. Like, it's kind of becoming, like, a second nature. I can almost, like, picture the map in my head at this point. And I'm only, like, halfway through the story. But I mean, other than just like some weirdly lacking quality of life features that other video games have, I guess, spoiled us with over the past, decade or so, Yakuza Kiwami is a ton of fun, and I'd highly recommend it. And once again, your resident Game Pass shill will love to remind you that it is on Game Pass on both console and PC, and I'm playing the Xbox One version, so I just prefer to play that on my TV myself. So yeah, that's everything I've played this week, essentially, so I'll just toss the ball and let whoever wants to catch it.
Balls in the air.
I'll grab it. Screw you guys. Okay, so what have I been playing? Hopefully this doesn't. Oh, my screen died. Anyway, so I have been playing again with the Yakuza games as well. I started with 0 though because I like chronological order. Yes, I like chronological order. So we're going in chronological order. But I haven't played too much, but basically the same sentiments as Ethan there. Kiryu is great. I love him. He's just a good character. Voice acting is superb for all the people that have been voice acted, and like I have personally learned very many a Yakuza accent and their their lingo in Japanese, and that's words I never would have heard of otherwise.
Hell yeah.
That's been fun. It's been fun to like learn more Japanese while playing a game. So, and then also get very confused. But yeah, very, very, very good game. An update, I figured out how to get Nier to work my PS4 controller. And so I'm going to go back and play that. And I'm so excited.
Was I kind of there for that?
I think you were, because Ben kind of helped me there. He, something happened.
Oh yeah, because we were playing Dark Souls.
Well, yeah, with
You were
Dark
playing
Souls.
Dark
Yeah,
Souls.
I was playing Dark Souls. Yeah. Oh, we'll get to that in a sec. But to get Dark Souls figured out for my controller, I had to open a big picture and reconnect the controllers, and I figured out how to get Steam to recognize my PS4 controller. So it's still annoying because I have to open up freaking big picture mode, and then open up Nier through big picture mode, and then it'll work. But besides that, it's nice. So we got that. We got it. I'm so excited. So,
At least it's working.
yeah, I played a little bit. Controls, I have to relearn controls, so I'm like, okay, I'm debating like starting a new level or starting a new game on a different save, and then just like playing the beginning to learn the controls, and then go back to my other save or something. But I'll see what I do. And then that one was like very little play, and then the next biggest one has been Dark Souls 3. Fuck you, Ben.
The running theme with this podcast is just fucking Ben constantly.
Pretty much. But
Nice.
it's been fun. The aesthetic of the game is not my favorite. I've never been into like what do you call that?
Grungy?
No, not just grungy, but like even like traditional, not even traditional, like castles and that whole
medieval.
Yeah, medieval.
Medieval.
I've never been into the medieval vibe. I've never liked
like
it.
gothic medieval,
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah. So I've never really been into that. The grim dark kind of feel of like the world, I'm okay with, because I mean I was okay with Hollow Knight. That one was kind of that zone, you know.
Yeah, but it's so cute and it's
Yeah, exactly. So kind of
awesome,
it's a
like,
juxtaposition. Yeah. So that's what I kept with Hollow Knight, because it was nice. But I don't know. I've never been into it, so I'm surprised I've played as much as I have, and I've enjoyed as much as I have. But yeah, it's been fun. Frustrating at moments because I'm still learning. Obviously, parrying. God, it's just so weird. It's not at all like Sekiro, which is okay because it's its own game. But like I'm so used to Sekiro's parrying system, so when I try to parry in this, I'm like, oh, the shields are all different timings, and then the enemy attacks are all god awfully slow. At least for now, because it's the beginning sections, I guess. But
A lot of enemies are very slow in attacking.
yeah, they're just slow. So it's like they charge
Big
up and they
wind-ups.
charge and they charge, and then you're like, oh, he's gonna do it, and then he keeps going, and you're like, just hit me, just hit me. That's all I want. Hit me. Anyway, yeah. So it's been fun.
Someone's going slightly insane.
A little bit. I'm just sick of everyone just taking forever to hit me. Just hit me. I want you to hit me so I can block you faster. But whatever. So that's been fun. And then I've been playing. Crap. What was the other game? If I think of it when Steve's gonna pull up on my second monitor. Oh no, it didn't. Sweet. What was the other one I was playing? Where are you? Oh, Doom. Pfft, I'm an idiot. Doom. I've been playing Doom. It's good. I got to, it's not even spoilers because it's like 4 hours into the freaking game, but I got to like the cyber demon thing. I forget what his name was exactly.
Oh, yeah, Cyber Demon.
Cyber Demon. Yeah. And so I was like, oh, wait, am I at the end of the game? This feels way too short. Because it was like, if it was like final boss levels of like, whoa, what the fuck is going on, right? I killed the damn thing. And then like, it keeps going. And I'm like, oh, there's more. Okay, cool. I'll enjoy more. So I keep going, keep playing. And then I get to like, I forget what they're called because it's in Japanese. I think it was like the Guardians of Hell or something like that.
Oh, the dual bosses at that one point. Yeah.
So I got there and I'm like, oh, sweet, this is the final boss. This feels like a final boss fight. It was just like insanity. I kill both of them, and then it just keeps going. And I'm like, okay, I'm happy it keeps going, but like, I don't understand how it can just keep like getting bigger and bigger. Because I mean, the cyber demon was already a huge fight, and then like the one guy that you fight, you're like, okay, cool, that was cool, and then like the two of them come in, you're like, oh fuck, and then it's just like consistent like movement, and I love that. I don't think I took a single hit during that fight. I felt so cool.
Oh, it feels so great.
And
so Doom
well
Eternal
done,
really carries that over, especially with its heightened difficulty, because Eternal really pulls no punches, and there it gets way harder. It feels just as good to do that.
I also saw for Eternal you have more like movement abilities, right? There's like a dash and things like that. So that'd be so nice, because like that's my one complaint right now. Half the time that I get hit, the only reason I get hit is because my character cannot move fast enough to dodge certain attacks.
Yeah, and you already move like lightning fast in Doom 2016. I mean, one thing that was carried over from the original Doom games, except I guess for like Doom 64, because Doom 64 is a bit of a slower game.
Yeah.
From what I've played. But like the mantra of the boomer shooter has just been like insane movement speeds, and it's like, you know, no sprinting, you just inherently move really, 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 really fast.
Yeah, I don't know. I like, personally, I prefer, because the speed he goes at doesn't feel that fast, to be honest. And then you hit the shift key to like go slow, and it's like, okay, I guess I could be walking at that speed, but like the base movement speed is so like default that it doesn't feel fast. So I kind of want a sprint or even to go faster, but like there's like every once in a while like a boost ability that you go faster with it, and those are nice. That's the speed Eternal, I want to move at. Yeah,
Eternal will definitely remedy that issue for you.
But it's still fun. It's just that one little hiccup that I'm like, I wish I could go faster. That's all.
No, that's certainly valid. I do want to say, because you're talking about like, you know, facing these bosses kind of seemingly one after another. Doom 2016 really does like backload most of the bosses to the end of the game. The cyber demon is kind of like the kickoff, I guess, of like the final half from like my memory of that. Then after you fight those two other guys, you're really close. I would honestly say you're about a couple levels left until you get to the actual final boss.
Yeah, because I beat those two guys, and I think I finished a section after them, so I'm probably like 1 or 2 levels off there or something. But yeah, no, like the maps are getting bigger too, so I'm like, oh great, there's more to go.
Oh geez, Eternal just takes that and makes them even freaking bigger, man.
Nice.
To a detriment in some places, in my opinion, but yeah, if you're really liking where a lot of the blueprint design of where Doom 2016 is going and what it's establishing, I can't wait for you to play Eternal and want to hear what you think.
Eventually we'll get around to that, but yeah, so Doom's been fun. It's been just, I don't know, my roommate was in the other room one time, and I had like it blasting on the speakers, and he was just kind of like giggling every once in a while. You hear like the you know, like the little like Doom soundtrack too. He's just like, oh, I heard it. And the best part was because my game's in Japanese, and they actually did a Japanese dub for everything. I had opened up one of like the relics, and it started speaking, right? But of course on my speakers it was pretty loud. My roommate looks over like, who the hell was talking? I'm like, oh, it's just Doom. It's in Japanese. Because the guy talks like, oh, yo, no, he's just like talking really low and stuff like that.
I'm curious what Samuel Hayden's voice sounds like in
Samuel
the Japanese
Hayden
dub.
sounds like a tobacco addict who like has the hole in his throat and like has the like ventilator thing. It's so good, and I love it, because half the time I can't understand him, and so I have to like pull up the subtitles, or I have to like look in like the backlog type of thing, and I'm like, oh my god, he seriously talks like, I can't do it, I can't go that low. I'll have to like record a clip of it to you, or like stream it so you can see, because it's so funny.
I mean, I could probably find it on YouTube as well. Because I was kind of curious about some of the dubs, because I remember seeing like Bethesda's Japanese Twitter account before Doom Eternal launched, and and like people were retweeting the Japanese trailer for Eternal, and I heard some of the Japanese dub in there, and I was like, oh, damn, that's pretty good.
Yeah, no,
that sounds really good. So I was really curious how
it's
2016 sounded.
Yeah, no, it's impressive, honestly. Like the narrator for the relics in the Demon Realm, I love his voice. He does such a good job. And then Samuel Hayden is really good. What's her name? Sophia? Was it Sophia something? The main girl at the beginning. Whatever her name was.
The scrawny one with the short white hair.
Yeah, the pastrami. You say pastrami.
Pastrami.
Anyway.
I said scrawny. Oh,
scrawny.
did I say pastrami?
Yeah,
I thought I
you
said
said
scrawny. The pastrami one.
No, but
with white
her
hair.
her voice actress was really good too. Like I don't know, they're just all really good. So I don't know. It's good. It's good stuff though.
Yeah.
Been fun. So I think that's all I've played this week. Besides Rocket League. Rocket League's the constant. So almost GC again, but probably won't get it before the season ends. Sad times. But I don't play it enough to like. Yeah, I don't play consistently enough to like practice and stuff. So we'll see. But yeah,
Okay.
that's been my time. Dark Souls, Doom, and whatever the last one I said was. Near.
You guys ever watched one of those videos on YouTube of the video game devs reacting to a speedrun of their game?
Yeah, I
I've
saw
seen
the
a
one
few
for
of
Doom
those.
Eternal.
Yeah.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, there's one for Doom
So
Eternal,
funny.
yeah. The conclusion that they came to is that they should start putting unskippable cutscenes in the sky. Which I really hope they do in the next one.
Yeah. It'd be so funny.
It'd be awesome.
Anyway,
Who's
I think
next?
balls
So,
in anyone's court
Does that
again.
mean it's
Yeah,
my
sure,
turn?
go for it.
Since I interrupted. I only really played Crash Bandicoot 4, more of it.
Oh, nice.
I'll go back to Doom eventually. To be honest, the last time I played it, I kind of got frustrated with
Makes
it.
sense,
And I have a hard time going back to games once they frustrate me. But that's what happened with like the first Crash games, and I still ended up going back to them eventually. So it's not like I'm like renounced it or whatever. It's just like I think I just was just in kind of a bad headspace when I was playing it. But I'll go back to it eventually.
You haven't abandoned it, but it's on hold.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do that occasionally. And by occasionally, I mean every game I play. Besides Mario, I guess. Anyways, so yeah, Crash 4. What to say about it? Have any of you guys, like, have you played it all, Ben? Maybe?
Crash Bandicoot 4?
Yeah.
Not yet. I don't own it.
I watched a VTuber play it, and it was funny to watch her scream at the game. So
I watched.
It is so hard.
I watched the nearly 90-minute Kid Icarus video on completing the game and how awful that looks. The game itself looks great, and I really do want to play it because I've played all the other Crash games. I have them all on the PS1. Great games. I really want to play 4. I just need to get my hands on it. Ben, if you buy it digitally, I think your home PlayStation 4 is still set as mine, so I get a digital copy too, technically.
Oh, I think I logged back in because I wanted to jump into Bloodborne for a quick second.
You should be able to access your own games on your own profile, though. So, unless
Well, yeah,
you
that's what I did.
manually
Is
set it back.
I logged back in as my own self.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He took away The Last of Us 2 from me. How dare he? That game I've been playing so much.
Yeah, definitely. That game that you definitely want to play like 2 more times.
Oh yeah. Anyway, let Andrew talk about Crash.
Yeah.
Super cute game. I'm just like, it's totes adorbs, I just I've only gone through 2 bosses so far. And what I really like is you get to like see the all the old characters kind of like in like a new design. So it kind of like brings up something maybe you guys will have an opinion on. You guys know like when you have like characters in cartoons and stuff that are rendered in CG.
Yeah.
What do you think is the better route to go? To make it like more textured, so that they like look more fuzzy, or to make it look more like kind of like they were like made out of clay? Because yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say I prefer a more. I mean, it's honestly a case by case basis, honestly. But I would say for the most part, I do kind of prefer the smoother, sleeker designs on there. So it kind of harkens to a more 2D aesthetic, even though obviously it's 3D. I prefer that, and so kind of what I was seeing from most of the gameplay of Crash, and most of like the characters kind of pull that. Crash looks a little fuzzy himself, but like when I take a look at like the models for Cortex or Embryo, they kind of, I guess, adhere more to that sleeker design philosophy, and I just kind of prefer that one overall.
Yeah, definitely. It allows for a lot wider range of expression, I think. Also, there's just something that's sort of like inherently creepy, I think, about
just like the uncanny
like
valley.
yeah, like kind of like like the Sonic movie, like how the
Oh yeah.
yeah, I think that design for Sonic, like the old one, that design might actually work fine if it was in 2D.
If it was a
You
horror
know,
movie.
yeah. Well, yeah, you just like remove like the fur and stuff, and like it would probably still be kind of weird, like giving like a animal character like muscles, like that's kind of weird, but like no matter the art style, I think, but it probably still would have been like been okay, like if it was like a 2D flat image. That's the thing about like minimalism that I really dig, is that like it's just really hard to make something like that uncanny, like it regardless of like what direction you go with it, it'll always have kind of like a cute like aesthetic to it. And I appreciate that the developers for Crash 4 seems to like have internalized that, because they could have gone with like the old designs, and like it probably would have like it probably would have taken far less time to design the game, but they actually went with yeah, I think in the industry it's kind of like it's almost like expected that like the more realistic something looks, the better it is, and with that, and kind of like ignoring stylism. And I think that's always a mistake. It's something isn't inherently better because it's realistic. The stylism is kind of like the way of the future, and it's also the art style that ages the best. Like take like Paper Mario on the N64. That is the like best looking game on the Nintendo 64. It's the one that like defied that's when like 3D like models were becoming like popular. Like it's kind of like the system that started that, and the game that looks the best from that system is the one that is the most cartoony, right? So yeah, so I don't know about you guys, but like I never want to like if I were to make a game, like if somebody came up to me and was like, let's make it more realistic, I'd be like, I quit.
I kind of agree with that, because I mean, you look at games. Another game example, Wind Waker. Like aside from the slight like pixelization because of just a lower overall resolution, it still looks fantastic.
Yes,
because it's stylized.
This has been the mantra for 3D animation for the longest time. It's that the more stylized and more aesthetically driven that you are to make something look far more unique, that always ages better than trying to go for realism. Although games like Horizon Zero Dawn, for the most part, and like I guess like The Last of Us Part 2 and the like still look really good in their facial animation departments and stuff like that, but give it 10 years and it's not going to look very good anymore. But Wind Waker will always look awesome.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'd be curious to see like what a more like dramatic game like The Last of Us or Horizon Zero Dawn would look like with like a more stylized art style.
I feel like it would detract at that point from that game.
I wanted to I agree with Elias. I wanted to say like that doesn't mean that I'm like advocating for a cel-shaded Last of Us sequel or something. Like
I don't know about The Last of Us, but do you guys think that would work with Horizon Zero Dawn? Like that's a bit more campy.
Personally, I don't think so. But again, I haven't.
Seen it, no.
But
I'd have to play it. And see for myself.
Really. It's not more campy either. I mean, it still takes itself pretty seriously. It's just more colorful, I'd say.
Yeah.
It's not as doomy and gloomy and I'm so sad.
Yeah, it's not like doom and gloom. It's more like epic. It's got more of like that epic adventure scale.
Look at a game like Portal, though. Like that game has a very clean art style. Like I wouldn't really say cartoony necessarily, but it is so like precise with its art direction that it's like very clear like what you should be looking at when you're trying to solve a puzzle. So that game is kind of like a nice balance of like it's not so stylized that you get just getting lost in the detail, but it's simplistic enough where I think the graphics have aged really well. Even that game's kind of getting a little old, but it still looks great because they found like a very nice balance between realism and being more stylistic. And I think that something like Horizon Zero Dawn would probably work great with like a Portal-esque art style where it's like somewhere in the middle.
Maybe, I don't know. Because the whole thing with Horizon is a lot of the robots especially, they're just super detailed. Like they've got all these small moving parts that like you can see if you go up close. The costumes are all super detailed and everything like that. There's just a lot of like really intricate detail in that game to where I don't think a slightly more simple art style, albeit like functional, I guess, for Portal, I don't think it would really help Horizon just because of how detailed some of the textures and like models and stuff are.
Yeah. I mean, as much as like I do agree with you, Andrew, that stylism is good, right? Not every game needs that, and not every game, should go for that. Because like
depends on the vibe too.
It depends on the vibe. Yeah, it depends on what you're going for aesthetically with the game. For Horizon, the way it is already, I think is perfect. Like it just works really well, especially with how detailed, like Ben said, with each robotic creature, because that plays into how you interact with them. Because each individual part of them can come off, and you have to abuse that, and you can see each individual part. If you simplify that down or stylize it differently, more like the Portal thing, you start to lose some of that detail, some of that accuracy. It works with Portal because all you're using is the portals. Everything's very simplistic and flat. There's not much detail to it to begin with, right? The game. So you're able to simplify down your art style as well and kind of stylize it that way. Whereas with Horizon, they already had the intent to make these things detailed and mechanically, game-wise, like very, very detailed as well. So it just kind of, combines there in that way. But again, it's just an opinion, but...
It sounds like I'm probably the only person like this, but when I was playing Horizon Zero Dawn, I actually kind of had a hard time seeing the weaknesses of the dinosaurs because of how detailed it was. Mm-hmm. So you kind of have to go and it's been a while, but isn't there like you use that thing on Aloy's head, right? And then you kind of go into like some sort of different vision.
Yeah, the focus that highlights all the things.
Yeah, and that's how you can tell where the weaknesses are, right? Yeah. But without that, you wouldn't really.
Oh yeah, but I mean that's the whole mechanic of that game. That's why they give you the focus. That's the purpose of it, right? You're not supposed to innately know. If I told you to go hunt a cow, would you know exactly where to shoot that cow to kill it? No, right? No. And nothing's gonna point you towards that. That's the realism part of that, and that's what they were going for that. They got kind of like a realistic future that we would have. They're not going for a cartoony art style for it. So it's not supposed to be simple. Yeah.
Yeah, case in point, when I first went up against a Thunderjaw, I had no idea that it had a possible weak point in its brain and in its side underneath the plating. Just because it was if you just look at it, you can't really tell. The stuff that you initially want to take off of it is probably the guns and the big things on its back, the rocket launchers or whatever. But once you scan it, then it says, hey, there's a soft spot in its head, and if you break off this plating, you can reach its heart. And it's oh, okay, cool. So that's kind of the whole mechanic. That's the gameplay loop, I guess, is scan a creature, locate its weak points, and exploit them.
Yeah.
Because no one else can see it.
I think it'd be cool to be able to determine the weaknesses without having to scan it, though, personally.
Well, yeah, but that's a whole different game at that point. But
I just play devil's advocate at this point.
No, I get that.
You guys can pick whatever you want.
I get that. Yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that that's a whole different gameplay loop for a different type of game. Horizon it does really well with what it does, and I don't know. I like it how it is, and I like Portal for how it is. So
I'm gonna ruin every game for you.
That's fine. I just know that you're not into realism, and I'm okay with that. I'm into it. It's not for everything, but it's nice to see games that attempt it, because it kind of pushes the boundaries of that graphical limitation and things like that, and all that kind of stuff, which is cool, because otherwise we wouldn't have any improvement in there, But anyway, continue.
I mean, the opposite can be said too. I mean, if there's a game that obviously should be stylized and it goes for a realistic thing, it's just okay.
Bad. Yeah.
All right. I hate to be the
no, you're good. I know we talked about that for a while.
But I'm cutting this tangent off.
You're good.
It was certainly fun but let's get back on topic.
Yeah.
What was the topic?
I think
You're talking about video games you were playing.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking about.
cool. All right, are we done with then? Are we going to bed?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
go ahead, bro.
Okay. So I played mostly one game, I think. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, mostly one game. And then of course the required game that we're going to mention later in the episode.
Yes.
But that one other game I played was Death Stranding.
Yes.
The Norman Reedus and the Funky Fetus
Amazing
UPS
fetus, shut
simulator. So yeah. I hadn't played it yet, and then Elias just kind of bought it for me, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna check it out because I was already soulsed out at that point. This is kind of like after I 100%ed everything. So I was just like, okay, I'm gonna try a completely different game and see what I think. And I remember like I suggested Horizon to Elias, and he ended up loving it. And so he's just like, hey, you should try this. I think you'll like it. So I'm like, okay, let's see if we get like a 1-for-1 on recommendations here. And so far, we got a 1-for-1 because I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Like the atmosphere, like the music, the visuals. It's just so friggin' cool. I love the way it looks. I love just like the mood that it has, and the story is like super intriguing because like it's weird enough that I'm just like I have no idea what's going on quite yet, but it's that same weird enough that like I want to keep going so I can figure out what's going on. It's not like the weird
you'll never
that's like
figure out what's going on.
yeah,
It's
but
a
like
Kojima narrative. It will
yeah,
disappear into its ass 10 times over.
But yeah, like it's the one thing that I'm finding weird is like the unexpected like patriotic like nature of it. It's like we have to bring America together and stuff like that, which was not the angle I was expecting it to take, which is kind of funny. And yeah, it just seems weird, but also like I can see where they're coming from. But that's probably like the point where I was just like, the most, but like everything else from like the time fall and like the BTs and everything is just super intriguing. And so far I'm really loving it. I'm sure many people have said the same thing before, but like walking has never felt like so much fun.
I think I said that like a couple episodes ago, and Elias was like, "Yeah, no, really."
Yeah,
It's the weirdest thing. I didn't expect to enjoy it that much, but I'm like really enjoying just trudging across the landscape with like a whole bunch of crap on my back.
It's the coolest walking simulator, the most unique walking simulator to ever release.
You're now ready, Ben, to become a
and
FedEx
it's proud
driver.
of it too.
It's very proud of it. Yeah. One weird thing I did notice though is the vehicle physics are super wonky compared to everything else though.
Yeah,
they're a bit weird.
Yeah, that's probably the least polished part of the game. Everything else is amazing, and then I get on the motorcycle and try to ride up a hill, and I'm just like, oh, what is happening?
Yeah, the only reason that's like that is because they try to make sure that the car interacts perfectly with the rocks, and then by doing so, they didn't check the physics on it and just made it so that the car like got stuck on everything. So
yeah, like it turns super jankily and stuff, and
I mean,
so
you
vehicle
eventually
physics
figure it
not
out,
super
but-
great, but everything else has been really fun.
Nice. Yeah, I
Yeah.
felt that like cars were always more of a hindrance than an actual helpful tool when I played through the game. I had many amazing moments where I got stuck like halfway down a cliff or whatever in a car, and I'm like, well, shit. What do I? There's nothing I could do, and I'd have to like reset back like a checkpoint or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I definitely feel, and I'm very intrigued to see how you feel more about it as you continue to go on, and if you're gonna bother completing it, because I mean, again, I pulled through 100% completion back on the PlayStation 4 version of the game. Elias, have you 100% completed
I haven't even finished
the
the game yet. I know I'm like at the last level, and I'm like right near the end. I just stopped playing for some reason, so I need to go back.
Oh, okay.
So
All right.
Yeah, I'm still trying to feel out like the whole how the whole delivery system works, because it's a very new type of like gameplay loop that I haven't really dealt with before.
the menus are
And
very
so-
JRPG like, yeah.
Yeah, and so there's a lot of menu management. There's a lot of like differing objectives, and there's a lot of different points on the map where I feel like it's wanting me to go and stuff. And so I'm just trying to like determine, do I just want to like focus on the story because that's what's most intriguing to me right now, or do I want to actually like do I actually want to like make the gameplay, I guess, a little easier or more interesting by like going through and like leveling up and doing all the things and stuff like that.
I should state though that while many side quests can get you a lot of useful tools, nothing is like fully necessary to actually finish the game, and you can always go back after you have finished the narrative for a cleanup. So it is one of those games that allows you to go back in. So don't feel pressured to run through everything if you know like you're gonna miss it in your playthrough. You won't. You'll get thrown back into the world.
Okay. Another thing is that because of the intro of the game, I'm now like I've been listening to the band Low Roar a whole bunch.
Yeah.
Like I've been listening to their album that Don't Be So Serious is on. I can't remember the name. I think it's Only Once in a Long While or something. But I've been listening to that album on repeat, and it's just so good.
It's good stuff.
It is really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah.
Anything else you wanted to? Okay. Well, I guess I was just about to say anything else, but it sounded like you
read your mind
yourself. So.
Yep. Now I'll keep playing because it's cool.
All right. Well, now it's time to talk about the best game ever.
It's a shit piece of shit, and I hated it, and it was awful, and I had to refund anyway. I'm kidding. It was good. It was good.
I made the suggestion on the very last episode because we had a discussion that popped up a little while ago where Andrew proposed that we have a time where we would make like the central discussion topic be an actual game that all of us attempt to play. And I really liked that idea, and I definitely would like to do Crash Bandicoot 4 at some point, but I'm broke, so I kind of can't do that right now. But
I'll get it for you, dude, for Christmas.
I will not refuse because I want to play that game. Thank you.
Is there a catch?
Nope.
It's a 300,000% interest after every day.
Aw, so sweet. I love you all.
Mostly me.
Just remember.
Yeah, no one else got me Crash Bandicoot 4.
All right, quick, everyone buy Ethan Crash Bandicoot 4.
Get like 3 copies.
Whoever gets it first is the winner.
Whoever gets it to him first gets the best friend title.
If you send over a PlayStation 4 copy, one of you should send over an Xbox One copy so I can give it to my brother. No. Cool. Anyway, yeah, so the game that... so again, yeah, we're Crash Bandicoot 4. And again, I want that to be like a central discussion topic at some point, but of course, like, we gotta wait for monetary stuff to like get better for everybody, and the whole idea of a central discussion topic idea to settle in, because we've only done this for like... This is our second episode doing this. But I proposed that we play one of my favorite games of all time, and it's not because it's good. Quite the contrary. It's absolutely terrible, and I love it to death because of it. And that is published by Bethesda Studios, developed by Rebellion, the people who made the Sniper Elite and Zombie Army series, comes Rogue Warrior, starring Mickey Rourke as Demo Dick Marcinko, Navy SEAL in this allegedly extremely gigantic, air quotes, true story of how he infiltrated North Korea during the Cold War and killed a bunch of Korean people and stopped a like terrorist attack or something, whatever, so that their communism couldn't attack the United States. It is based off of a novel of the same name, and the game is a first-person shooter with third-person type elements with a cover shooting mechanic, and it is liquid shit, but it's amazing, and I love it so much. And so I guess we'll kind of get this out of the way first. We've been discussing the game in our Discord chat for the past couple of days, trying to see like how to get it working. I finished the game. this is like maybe my 6th time playing through it. I've played it on every platform, and I have the Steam version from like years ago, and I finally beat the Steam version on the hardest difficulty. I've done it, I think, on the Xbox. I don't think I ever did it on the PS3 though. But I did that playthrough, and Ben was able to finish it.
Mm-hmm.
And then Andrew and Elias couldn't get it working, and so since they couldn't actually really play the game, I want to have them speak first on their experience, and then Ben and I can discuss, you know, the game how it should be working.
Quick question, Andrew. How far did you get before yours stopped working?
Oh, geez, not far at all.
Like, did you even pass the first level?
There's like a big courtyard, right? In the very first level.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And then you have to like go up some staircases.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
That's like what, like 2% into it?
Not even, probably. And that's where it crashed and just didn't work again?
Yeah, my screen froze. I was like deathly afraid that my computer just died. I could never get it working again.
So you start, because I somehow got further, but I will explain how I got further.
Yeah, I guess I should make this clear from the get-go. We all played the PC port of the game on Steam, it appears. It is additionally available on like the PS3 and the Xbox 360 if you want to give it a try for yourself, and I highly recommend you do. If it'll work, stipulation, you can get it like for pennies on the dollar, essentially, now. I picked up a PS3 copy of it from GameStop like a couple of years ago for $2, pre-owned. And you can get, like, I said this in the last episode, but like, you can get it for like, it was like $1.50 on the Steam Autumn sale.
Yeah, that's how much I got it for.
So you can get it for, you know, dirt cheap, so it's definitely worth trying. Now, whether or not it works, obviously, is another story, and with that, I will let Elias elaborate on his misadventures.
Okay, so Andrew. Okay, I got further than Andrew.
You can come back to me.
But, I mean, you start, because I got further
go
than you, so you tell me, or you say how far you got, what you liked, or whatever.
Okay. Gotta say, right from the get-go, the difficulty select
Oh,
is quite possibly the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Let me pull up the image. I can read it off. Keep talking for now, but I'll let me find it real quick.
Yeah. Anyways, my little brother, he came into my room, as you do. I wish he would knock first, but he asked me if I was downloading something, and I was, and he stood and like watched me play it briefly. Anyways, my laptop it's good for like drawing and stuff, but it's terrible at running video games. So my thing was it was stuttering. It was like one frame rate, like one frame every 10 seconds. It felt like, and and sometimes it would just cut back to the Steam page, and I just had to wait for it to go back while like I'm getting shot. So that was hard. I'm terrible at FPSs in general, and I've never played with a mouse and keyboard before.
Oh wow.
So I was like aiming at the guys' crotches, and I couldn't kill anything, and they were killing
Center
me.
of mass.
Yeah. And it was my brother was watching me do this, and he took pity upon me, and he actually started playing, and I just watched him.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. He got further than I did. I think I killed 2 enemies, so that's not saying much. But with how bad the frame rate was, it was pretty funny. Like every time I try and throw a grenade, you would just see like his hand kind of fly by, and then you don't know where the grenade went. So,
That's funny.
I think my brother died from grenades, like his own grenade, like 4 times, I think. Or like there was this one time where he died and then he respawned right on top of another guy. Then he just instinctively he immediately threw a grenade, and it just flew right through the guy's face out the window.
Nice.
So
yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry. Don't mean to cut in. I had to pull up the game because I couldn't find an image on Google that showed off all the difficulty levels. But But quickly jumping back to that, for the 3 difficulty levels you have, so you have your standard easy, normal, and hard, right? So easy mode, also known as recruits, is described as, if you're a pussy, select this one. Regulars, which is normal, says, bring it on, motherfuckers. And then for the highest difficulty, elites, says, think you're fucking special, huh? And that is the first impression you get from this game, outside of a really shitty, like, very standard, like, 2004-esque menu music with a 3D CGI model of Dick Marcinko standing there, like, holding a gun and a knife, with his eyes, like, cut off from the darkness and everything, so you can't see his eyes, so he looks so badass and mysterious. Ooh. And that is the first impression that this game gives, and it is an amazing one.
Okay, is that all you want to say on that, Andrew, or do you have more?
Well, I'm just curious. Do any of you guys kind of know like the backstory of this game? Because it's made by like a big publisher. Like,
right, I mean,
do you think they really? Yeah, do you think they were just joking around with it? Like, it's gotta be. It's gotta be like a Rickroll, right? I
don't really remember what happened with it. Funny enough, I say that because I meant to watch this video before. I don't know if any of you guys know about Matt McMuscles. He was originally a part of Super Best Friends Play, but he has his own individual YouTube channel where it's called What Happened, where he'll like talk about like a really shitty game or something and talk about like what led into making it a shitty game. And he covered Rogue Warrior like a while back. But I didn't actually watch the video. I meant to do so I would actually get a bit of that backstory. I mean, it's a very like surface level overview and the like, but it would at least give me something, because from what I remember, it doesn't have like a crazy development story like how like Ride to Hell Retribution did, or something like really scandalous like Aliens Colonial Marines. I think it was just kind of like a shit game that just was, you know, honestly meant to be good, and it just plopped out, as far as I'm aware, but I could be wrong.
It's just like the end credits specifically, which we can get into later, is just like that just seems so like hammy, and like we want to write the like most vulgar song imaginable. and get this like that guy who performed it, that was probably
Rourke.
his first. Yeah, it's probably his first take. They probably paid him like a ham sandwich and a monster drink, and just like put him in the booth for like 20 minutes. Like that's what it feels like to me. Just like we're just like this. We're just gonna have fun with this, really.
Yeah,
at least that's what I like to believe. I really hope that nobody like this is like somebody's like passion project or somebody's baby.
It was Dick Marcinko's though, if I remember correctly, because he was like, you know, really, really on board with it and was really like gung ho.
Is he like a Tommy Wiseau type?
No, because like he wasn't like a director on the game or anything. He just, you know, I guess he had like a writing credit because it's based off of his novel, but biography or whatever the hell. I say that as I roll my eyes in the most comically dramatic way possible. So, I mean, I guess he had like a writing credit, and his likeness is used for the character model. If you Google Dick Marcinko, you know, it looks like him. You know, I just like, you know, rendered in like Unreal 3 from like 2007, but you know, it looks like him.
Oh yeah, you're right.
He looks him up nice. Okay. Was it all Andrew or?
Yeah, go ahead, Elias.
So I want to preface this with I have a good computer, Intel i9 8-core processor at like 4.3 gigahertz up for each core, and I also have an RTX 2070 Super. This game ran at 10 frames per second on the lowest graphics settings. When I turned up the graphics settings, I got 20 frames a second. So I don't know. Anyway, so I booted up the game. Menu looked fine. I went into the options menu and like changed all the settings to be the highest because I knew my computer could handle it. I was surprised the game was 3.5 gigabytes considering how bad it looked. But then when I loaded the high quality textures, I was like, okay, cool. So they just put all of their like data into just the textures, and that was it. So nice.
And there is a multiplayer mode tacked onto it too.
I saw that, yeah. But I hit start game. I see the funny little difficulty thing. I was like, you think you're funny, huh? Fuck you. And I clicked the regulars one just because I could get through it faster. The game starts playing, and it's just stuttering. Like the whole time. I'm just like, okay, maybe bad port or something. And 30 seconds into me figuring out what the hell was going on, the game crashes. I was like, okay, cool. So I just opened it back up, and I think I was trying to play mouse and keyboard, but it was registering that my controller was plugged in when it wasn't plugged in. So I don't know what it was doing. So it would give me like, oh, hold X and I would hit my X button. Nothing would happen. I'm like, oh, so I was guessing what all the key buttons did. Apparently, right mouse click is not aim down sight. Space bar is. Right mouse click throws grenades.
Yes.
And so I would throw grenades.
Gosh, yeah.
I would throw grenades constantly.
I was almost halfway through the game when I like found out how to. No, I'm not halfway through the game. I was like, I think I went past like 2 or 3 like missions before I realized how to aim down the sights because I tried to jump over something.
Oh yeah.
I did
yeah.
I set my personal key bindings a while ago, and I guess they saved when I reinstalled the game, but I did have my right click to zoom in
nice.
when shooting. But I totally forgot as I was like playing the game again, and I accidentally hit the space bar, and it zoomed in. I was like, oh, I totally forgot. Like, oh, it's so bad. What is going on? But
but yeah.
whatever. I had the right mouse, so
and for some reason, because it thought my controller was plugged in, I was not allowed to change the key bindings because I go to the controls thing. It's like, oh, here's what the controller looks like. I'm like, this doesn't freaking help me. Thanks. And so basically I would play. I think it would last about 30 seconds to a minute before the game would crash. Luckily it auto-saved, so I would just keep like opening up the game and like kind of continuing from where I was and just try to go as fast as humanly possible so I could get to the next section where it would auto-save basically. Sneaking has never been so easy. You just sprint up behind them and then just melee them. It's so good. Why can't every game do that?
You can even do that mid combat.
Really?
Yes.
If you're close enough
And
to
it
an
gives
enemy.
you. Yeah, so I did this because I did the hardest difficulty playthrough, and it's a legitimate strategy, oftentimes, and especially in the mission, because there's a mission where you have to place bombs on a bunch of missiles before you run out of a bunker.
Oh, nice.
But like you're on these linear like catwalks, and enemies will just kind of keep pouring in, and you get iframes not iframes, you're just completely invincible as you're doing these kill moves. So I would just sprint like in a single like file line, just keep pressing E just immediately, like WE, and then like would just kill a whole room of people like without breaking a single sweat.
That's funny.
Yeah.
God. Anyway, so I did that. And then the game would crash, and I got to the point where I got to like the fast rope. I don't know if they call it a fast rope. That's the funniest thing to me. It's
Fast rope.
like a rappel or like anything else. Fast rope.
Hey guys, I'm gonna go use the fast rope.
And I got stuck there for a split second because it was like, oh, hold the X button on your controller or something like that to go down. And I'm like, okay, let me hit F, let me hit R, and none of the keys worked. And then I realized, oh, it was hold, so I had to like started holding every single freaking key on my keyboard until one of them worked. And then it crashed again. I was like, fine. So I went back and changed all the settings, and I came back in. It was worse, so I put all the settings back up high again. And then I found out, so I did the whole first level like that. And I was like, okay, we're done for the day. I'll play it again tomorrow and see if it's better. So I uninstalled it, reinstalled it, and everything. And then nothing got fixed. I was on the second level, nothing got fixed. So I was like, okay, cool. So let me try something else. So this time, because before it would crash, it would always freeze up for like 10 seconds. And sometimes it would keep letting me play. Sometimes it would just crash, right? And so what I figured, let me Alt-Tab and Alt-Tab back in. Whenever it starts stuttering and like starts freezing up a little bit, I would just Alt-Tab back in. It would let me keep playing. So I would have to keep Alt-Tabbing out and back in. But sometimes it would start freezing when I'm getting shot at. So I'd have to Alt-Tab as fast as humanly possible so that it wouldn't register them shooting me. And then Alt-Tab back in, and it would give me iframes, luckily. But like, I was always on the verge of death constantly. And so, and I think at one point it glitched, so I was just invincible. So I just kind of walked through the rest of the level. But Yeah, that's how I played the game for the first like 45 minutes. I played 45 minutes of alt tabbing in, tabbing back in, alt tabbing out, and tabbing back in, just constantly. And even then, it would last for about 3 minutes until it fully crashed. So I upgraded from 30 seconds to 3 minutes before it would crash. And so I finished level 1 and I think level 2, and then now we're here. So that was my experience with that game.
Jeez, you went through the ringer trying to get that thing to work.
But it was fun. The dialogue when he throws a grenade, he was like, "You'll eat this, you fucking prick," or whatever. I'm like, "Oh yes, I love this. It's so funny." Like the dialogue was great, and like the narrations were spot on. But like,
the dialogue is what makes the game, honestly.
Oh, for sure.
If it wasn't for the script that was written by the angriest and like most racist 12-year-old that you could think of, and then performed by, again, the Mickey Rourke, famous live action actor Mickey Rourke, it wouldn't be nearly as fun as it is, but I can take the mediocre to outright like bad but still playable gameplay, as long as you have this absolutely batshit story and even more insane dialogue to keep it going. And it does. And the thankful thing is that the game is incredibly short. Like, it's so short you can play through it twice and still qualify for a Steam refund. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, no.
For this newest playthrough, I played it on the hardest difficulty. I already made that clear. And even though I already had hours put into the game, I kept track of what my game time was over the past 2 weeks on Steam. Because I hadn't obviously played it over the past 2 weeks, except for when I was just doing this playthrough. It took me 90 minutes to finish it on the hardest difficulty. 90 minutes. Wow. 90 minutes. I did it across two sittings.
Special,
I did it across two sittings, but again, I was able to beat the game on again, hardest difficulty in an hour and a half. Again, like if you can actually run the damn thing, it's certainly worth playing because it's so damn short. It's like what it's an hour. Like, what are you doing? What are you gonna do for an hour? Just beat your meat? Like, play Rogue Warrior, bro. Come on. Come on.
I can beat my meat to Rogue Warrior. Watch me.
Oh boy.
Take my
That'd be the most like testosterone filled like experience.
Quick interjection about Mickey Rourke though. So for those who aren't aware, I have a little bit of history in like the local film industry in my state, and there was a point in time where I was hired to be an extra in a World War II movie.
Oh yeah.
And mind you, I got cast as a Nazi. When I'm like have like one of the most like Jewish looks like out of the friend group here, and they cast me as a Nazi, and yeah,
dude, how have I never heard this? That is gold.
I knew you were an extra in that movie, but I didn't know you were a Nazi.
Yeah, they cast me as a Nazi.
I knew you were just dead. That's what I remember. Just you being dead.
Yeah, and so.
I'm crying.
I wish we could.
Okay, but like,
continue.
Yeah, so
sorry.
We were on set and we just, we did the whole movie, and then I went and I watched it after it came out, and it's got Mickey Rourke in it. It's got Dolph Lundgren, it's got all these, like classic, kind of B movie, I guess, tough guy actors that are pretty popular in that genre. And like literally the only thing that Mickey Rourke did in the movie was he gave orders to the American soldiers who were like the leads in the film. He was the only source of any cursing. So he reprised his role as the Rogue Warrior, I guess, like just by being the only person in the film who says fuck or anything similar. And just that's it. He gets like 3 minutes of screen time, and all of it is just like growling directions and then like cursing.
That's so funny.
And then like the rest of the movie is just pretty bad. Like the explosions that we had on set were like almost entirely replaced by like cheap CG ones and stuff like that. Story was dumb. It was just bad. And so you get to see me as a dead Nazi though, so that's kind of cool, I guess. It's called War Pigs. It's not very good.
Oh man, that's awesome. I want to hear more about that at some point.
But yeah, so that's just context on Mickey Rourke and kind of the roles that he's been like, that he just kind of does these days, I guess, or has done for a while.
I would have tracked him down on set and made him sign my copy of Rogue Warrior.
I don't think he was on set that day, but
I would find a way.
I think Dolph was, but I'm not sure. I didn't know who Dolph Lundgren was really at the time. And so I just heard his name. I was like, I know, I kind of heard of his name, but I don't know what he looks like, so I don't care.
Rocky 4, bro.
You're in a movie with Dolph Lundgren?
I guess technically, but like you can only see me for a split second.
Oh my god! I can't believe I've never heard of this.
Because the movie was bad. It's terrible.
You're in a movie.
Yeah,
I've been in a few movies.
Yeah.
You know that one Brigsby Bear one that was.
Man, tell me more about your life.
That one Brigsby Bear one. I'm in that too. Barely.
So much for being friends. Am I right? No kidding.
I got paid like $100 to sit in an extras room for 12 hours and only be on set for like 30 minutes. So I mean, there's that. It was a source for some extra money while I was in high school, and I was really into trying to make movies at the time. So cut me some slack.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so
back
Mickey
to
Rourke.
Yeah, so I wanted, so after we've got the amazing experiences of Andrew and Elias, whose computers shit bricks on them,
which is funny,
trying to
because
play this extremely rudimentary game. I wanted to I guess kind of spotlight the full game experience between Ben and I, because both of us have finished the game. Again, this is like Ben's first and probably only playthrough of the game. And
I already uninstalled it.
I refunded mine, don't worry.
And this is probably maybe my 5th or 6th playthrough of the game, because I played it on all 3 platforms, and I've beaten it multiple times. Because the achievements don't stack for the difficulty, you can't play it on the hardest difficulty your first time through and then get the achievement for the easy and medium difficulties. You have to play them on those easier difficulties all the way through and able to get those achievements. But when you're playing a game that's only an hour long, it's like not that big of a deal. But anyway, goodness, we've already said so much.
Yeah,
but there's certainly other things that I would very much like to discuss. The vulgarity of the game, we touched lightly on it, but I do not think that there is a more vulgar video game out there in terms of dialogue than Rogue Warrior. There are, if I remember correctly, there's like borderline ethnic slurs thrown around. The F-bomb is dropped a ceaseless amount of times. Like
it's his catchphrase. That's his catchphrase.
It is his catchphrase. Piss, shit, Jesus, goddamn, commie motherfuckers, cock, suck ass. That's another one.
That's bleep all
yeah.
No.
There's so much and so much in there that it's absolutely hilarious that the game takes itself so seriously, yet it is filled with so much profane dialogue. I wanted to talk about the rap song at the very end of the game. Wow.
Dude,
it's as long as a movie.
I want you to perform it. Like, can you perform it?
I don't know the lyrics because the funny thing is like the lyrics of the song are just voice samples of the normal dialogue that Mickey Rourke says throughout the game, but spliced to a really like stupid beat, and that's all it is, and it's amazing. In fact, I would like to ask, because I really don't think Bethesda gives a shit about taking credit for Rogue Warrior at all, if I could humbly request that Elias use a snippet of this song and use it as the outro track to this episode.
Can do. Let me know what snippet you like.
I very much appreciate it. I will give you time codes.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Yeah, man. It is just it's wicked. And again, like you'll be able to hear some of it yourself at the very end of this, or if you've already played the game, or if you've already looked up a video after we've been, just going on and on about it. Yeah, it's certainly something to behold. Oh yeah, I forgot to say, on top of like ethnic slurs and whatever, a couple homophobic slurs as well. Yeah, the hard F-bomb is dropped when referring to Karl Marx. I know that, which is really funny because like Karl Marx was more like the philosopher that kind of came up with the idea of like socialism and communism, not necessarily the tanky asshole who, really threw it into gear and turned it into what communism is kind of known as today, like Stalin or Mussolini. But it's funny that he still like shit talks like Karl Marx like so hard. It's really funny. It's definitely a Republican's understanding of socialism and communism, in the way and how it talks about the philosophy, and that it is just extraordinarily vulgar. But before I start calling for my brothers and sisters and non-binary friends to seize their means of production, we'll switch subjects. Gameplay. Oh my lord, it's bad, but it's functional.
Spacebar to aim. Like, what is that?
Yeah, spacebar to aim. The controls are terrible. The thing is that the game, it works. Like, again, it's playable and you can finish it.
It's playable, yeah.
I mean, unless you have a computer that will just absolutely refuse to run it.
Yeah, I don't know, because at this point, I think Elias's computer is more powerful than mine, but I was able to run it like just fine.
Same here.
But with the exception of having some screen tearing and being disappointed that there wasn't any VSync.
Yeah, no, the screen tearing was a constant for me as well. Although I don't remember there being any screen tearing in the console versions of the game, because I think it probably did just VSync on there. But it's a half-assed PC port. What do you expect? So, so it's a very simple first-person shooter game where, and even on the hardest difficulty, it's a point-and-click adventure game with WASD movement mechanics. Because, like, even on the hardest difficulty, enemies go down so fast and so easily. You start every single level with the same weapons. You start up with an SMG, and you also get a silenced pistol. The thing is,
which is really annoying.
Well,
after getting like new weapons and stuff like that, you're just reset. And you're like, oh, come on.
Well, they drop so many weapons in all the levels and whatever. It's not a big problem for me. It's stupid and it's needlessly inconsistent. But
that's what I'm going at. It's stupid, but it's not like terribly inconvenient, I guess.
Especially considering that the pistol is an infinite ammo weapon.
I had no idea.
Yeah, the pistol has infinite ammo, and even on the hardest difficulty, it takes less than half a clip to kill a guy if you don't line a headshot, which is kind of hard to line a headshot because, again, like it's very kind of like decides, hey, do I want to work or do I not want to work, when actually like, hey, I actually want to aim at that thing and shoot that thing. Sometimes it's like, but do you really? Like, yes, I do. But the game likes to say otherwise.
Some like one like a couple weird things I realized when like with the aiming especially is like sometimes like you would shoot in the same spot and you would like it would connect, it would like do damage, it would make a kill, whatever. But then like you know like with the whole third person cover mechanic that it has.
Oh, yes.
I would go up and I would shoot again, like doing the same exact thing. I would shoot again. I would hit that same spot, but it just wouldn't do anything. Like the bullet would just like hit an invisible wall or something like that.
Oh my gosh.
Like the bullet tracking is extremely like just inconsistent.
It's terrible. I didn't have anything that dramatic happen to this latest playthrough, but considering the fact I've played it so many times, I can probably more than guarantee I've ran into that on any of the platforms that I played this game on. But yeah, no, dear Lord, what the really funny thing that really like hits the nail in the coffin for me when it comes to the actual gameplay mechanics is that I'm sure you guys all played enough to aim your gun, and I don't know if you noticed, but when you're actually aiming your gun, the gun itself takes up like 50% of the screen real estate when you're aiming, and the iron sights or whatever are like so poorly like morphed onto the gun itself that it's nearly impossible to see what you're shooting at half the time. It's quite fantastic in just pure poor game design on, what numbnut looked at this and thought, yes, this works, especially considering the Sniper Elite people, a franchise that is built off of aiming down your sights. How do you screw this up? How do you screw this up? Rebellion found a way, but how do you do this? Nevertheless, it's still just something else. And even then, like, with all those complaints aside, like the poor ADS, the really bad controls, the overall jankiness, because of course, like, again, Andrew and Elias, it shit out on them, but even for Ben and I, we've already mentioned that there's some jankiness in there. Character ragdolls are something else, and then you have your whole, you're completely invincible while doing kill moves. You take damage from, completely out of nowhere. I had one death in this recent playthrough that I don't know how it happened. There was no explosion sound or anything. I just dropped dead, and I just had to restart a checkpoint. I was like, what?
I had that happen to me several times during the part where you're putting like C4 on all the missiles before you hop into the water like in the boat, like submarine level or whatever.
Oh yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. The final level then.
Oh yeah, that's the final level.
Yeah.
It was just so anticlimactic that I forgot that it was the final level. Because it just ends right after that.
Oh yeah, it does. It's just like, game's over. Here's your credits.
Yeah, it's like here we go. But yeah, I was playing that mission and I died so many times from I have no idea what. Like I was just like sitting behind cover and then I would just drop dead and I was like, oh, okay, cool, I guess.
You just stopped living.
Yeah.
It's like, I've had it with this.
Even Dick doesn't want to exist in his own game.
Then he dies.
Dick Marcinko had a heart attack. That's what's going on. He's been smoking too many cigarettes. He has to play one leaves so that he knows how bad smoking is.
Yeah.
Hopefully that'll help him to quit.
Hopefully. But geez, yeah. It's one heck of a game.
It certainly is. Again, hashtag save Dick. I guess I'll make that the title of the episode.
Hashtag save Dick.
I think that's a great name. But I think we've kind of set our piece on the game. None of us liked it. Well, I do. I have an ironic love with it.
I thought it was.
I have a similar liking of it. Like I don't really feel like playing it again, but at the same time, it's just like I'm glad I played it.
Yeah, no, it's like the Room situation, or like Ride to Hell, or the E.T. game, or just so bad it's good.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the 40 minutes of pain that I went through, but I still enjoyed it.
Yeah,
no, that's a quality like bonding experience with my little brother. Like we'll never forget it.
Rogue Warrior,
that's pretty neat actually.
Rogue Warrior is the kind of game where it's It's basically a toddler that's walking around the room with a pan on top of his head, or like a big saucepan, so he's not looking where he's going, and keeps bumping into walls and shitting his pants everywhere and just dragging shit all over the floor. And you just look at him and you're just like, aw. He's trying. And that's Rogue Warrior for me.
We're going, I'm a big boy now.
Yeah.
Sure.
Wait,
sure.
what's that line that you put in our chat here that he says every once in a while? Oh yeah, goddamn cock with commie motherfuckers.
Yes, most definitely. Yeah. The dialogue, man, something else. But I guess that concludes everything with Rogue Warrior. We all liked it in a way, obviously. Some of us were not able to finish it, and it makes me sad. I wish we could have all finished it, because it's so short. Again, I've reiterated that countless times at this point. But yeah.
Here's a fun little thing that's going on with me right now, is that my laptop is running so low on disk space. I'm planning on upgrading to a PC. So I could probably actually play it then, but
Woohoo.
While I'm here on Audacity, it's actually telling me how much disk space I have before, like, I don't know what'll happen. I guess I just won't be able to save the audio file. It says I have an hour and 57 minutes left.
Oh, hell.
Oh wow.
When we started recording independently, I was at like 13 hours. So yeah, I think Rogue Warrior is the reason it got so low. So I need to uninstall it so I can continue to save stuff. But
Nice.
Amazing.
Yeah, let's get you upgraded on that sometime soon.
Yeah. Otherwise, I just won't be able to do it because I won't have disk space.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That is like the most like weird problem for me to have. Like
Running out of disk space.
Like suburban American person. Like the biggest problem in my life is that I just don't have enough disk space on my computer.
Yeah. I wish I could be in your situation, dear Lord. Anyway, before I have an existential nightmare mental breakdown on recording, we appreciate the discussion that we've had today. It was certainly a lot of fun to talk about a shit game. We'll definitely talk about another game in the future. I like this whole, like, we gather together, like, underneath, like, a singular game that we've played throughout a certain period, and we all discuss it. Definitely want to do this again.
Can we do another recommendation, like now?
I don't know. Maybe we can just find another topic for next week. We'll work on it behind the scenes, but we'll definitely look into doing that. Certainly will be a lot of fun, because I have a couple games up my sleeve. I think it'd be a lot of fun to talk about, and pretty cheap ones too, that it wouldn't be hard for everyone to get their hands on. But we'll save that discussion for when we're not recording. But it's certainly going to be a lot of fun to keep doing this in the future. I really like this. So I would like to very much thank Andrew for presenting the idea to begin with several episodes ago. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You have made.
I got the idea from Sardonicast. They review movies.
Oh yeah, the same thing where they do like a movie every 2 weeks, and they're like, I listen to Sardonicast too. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I do. I love them. They were my top podcast according to my Spotify Wrapped of last year. So of this year, I guess. But anyway, that aside. Let's get into the little pliggy plugs at the very end of all this bullshit.
Plugs.
Once again, you can find me at Sir Quijibo, that is SirKwyjibo, at Medium, Letterboxd, and Backlogged. Additionally, you can find me at Sir KBO, the letters KBO, on Twitter and Instagram. And then I also am a writer for Comic Book Resources, or CBR.com. And I've had so many articles that have been pushed out this past little bit just so that I could try and make ends meet financially. Men's eat. I can't talk today. I've been grinding so much. I'm exhausted. I haven't taken a day off in God knows how long. of actually working. I'm exhausted and I hate my life. But you can read those articles. Then I get kickback from those if you read them. So all of my links and everything will be found in a link tree in the description of this podcast, as well as the description of the SoundCloud profile, and everything will all be listed in there for you to run ahead and go stalk. Also, I had the idea, and I got this made, but I made a Twitter account specifically for the podcast. Now, whether or not I'm going to actually utilize it is one thing, but I did take an that'll work for us, and I might plug that if I actually decide to do something with it, but we'll have to wait and see. But anyway, balls up in the court again. Who plugs next? It's up to whoever wants to take it.
Balls. You can find me at Thunderfellow on Letterboxd and Backlogged.
You can find me at get off my screen. A thing that's on my screen that doesn't make sense without context. You can find me at andrewlangston.artstation.com. If you want to commission me, it is andrewlangstonart@gmail.com. Remember, I'm a cartoonist, so commission me for cartoons.
And I am on SoundCloud. I think that's all. I don't really care to say it right now. I'm in the middle of something else. Sorry.
I will do it for you. It's EFA.
Wow, wants to needs his own friend to plug his own stuff.
Hey, I listen to his stuff once in a while.
Yay.
I do too.
Aww. Aww. You guys. You make me
Homies support
cry.
homies. All right, well, I guess that does it here for us today. Once again, we appreciate it, and we'll be back with a new episode eventually here, where more goofs and gaffs and stupid bullshit awaits. Anyway, bye.
Bye-bye.
Fucking commies keep getting in my way. No surprise, motherfuckers.
Happy fucking birthday.
That's right, Natty, now you sweet piece of shit. Enjoy the ride, cocksucker. Have a nice trip. Boom time, baby. Trick or treat. Looks like a party, come on. I got places to go and people to meet. Assholes are everywhere. Fuckers are out in force. Hi-ho, hi-ho. This fucker's gonna blow. Anytime, anywhere, any place.